2021, and this is the Sabbath message. Shabbat Shalom, meaning peace on your day of rest. Remember to keep the Sabbath holy. Work and get everything done during 6 days each week. But the seventh day is a day of rest to honor the Lord your God. On that day, no one may do any work, not you, your son or daughter, your male or female slave, your animals, or foreigners living in your cities. The reason is that in 6 days the Lord made everything, the sky, the earth, the sea, and everything in them. On the seventh day he rested. So the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. That scripture is found in Exodus 20, verses 8 to 11. Now, during this past week, the celebration of Purim was held by the Jewish people. And if you've read the book of Esther, you'll familiarize yourself with the happenings that led up to Purim and the results of that action. Have you noticed that there's no actual mention of God in the book of Esther? Seems unusual, doesn't it? This is just one of 2 books in the Bible that God isn't mentioned. Does that mean that God isn't involved in what's going on or the interaction of the people? No, absolutely not. If you read through, you see that people are put in place at just the right time to make sure that things turn out as they should. The Jewish people are God's chosen people, and He makes sure that they will be all right. Another interesting fact is that you probably notice that this feast, or Holy Convocation Festival, is not listed in Leviticus with the other feasts of the Lord. Those ones are the Sabbath, the Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of First Fruits, the Feast of Pentecost, the Feast of Trumpets, the Feast of Atonement, and the Feast of the Tabernacles. These are all recorded in Leviticus 23. Verse 4 says of chapter 23, "These are the feasts of the Lord, holy convocations, which you shall proclaim at their appointed times." Now, regarding Purim, we look at Esther chapter 9, verses 20 to 22. It says, "Mordecai wrote down everything that had happened. Then he sent letters to all the Jewish people in all the empire of King Xerxes, far and near. He told them to celebrate every year on the 14th and 15th days of the month of Adar, because that was when the Jewish people got rid of their enemies. They were also to celebrate it as the month their sadness was turned to joy, and their crying for the dead was turned into celebration. He told them to celebrate these days as days of joyful feasting and as a time for giving food to each other and presents to the poor." And we need to go back up a little bit. Otherwise, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. So if we go back to chapter 3 in the book of Esther, we find out what's going on. And we'll start at verse 7. It says, "It was in the first month of the 12th year of King Xerxes' rule, the month of Nisan, that is Lot, was thrown before Haman to choose a day and a month. So the 12th month, the month of Adar, was chosen. Then Haman said to King Xerxes, 'There is a certain group of people scattered among the other people in all the states of your kingdom. Their customs are different from those of all the other people, and they do not obey the king's laws. It is not right for you to allow them to continue living in your kingdom. If it pleases the king, let an order be given to destroy these people. Then I'll pay 750,000 pounds of silver to those who do the king's business, and they will put it into the royal treasury.' So the king took his signet ring off and gave it to Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of the Jewish people. Then the king said to Haman, 'The money and the people are yours. Do with them as you please.' On the 13th day of the first month, the royal secretaries were called, and they wrote out all of Haman's orders. They wrote to the king's governors and to the captains of the soldiers in each state and to the important men of each group of people. The orders were written in the writing of each state and in the language of each people. They were written in the name of King Xerxes and sealed with his signet ring. Letters were sent by messengers to all the king's empire, ordering them to destroy, kill, and completely wipe out all the Jewish people. That meant young and old, women and little children too. It was to happen on a single day, the 13th day of the 12th month, which is Adar. And they could take everything the Jewish people owned. A copy of the order was given out as a law in every state, so all the people would be ready for that day. The messengers set out, hurried by the king's command, as soon as the order was given in the palace at Susa. The king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city of Susa was in confusion. Now, if you remember back to when the people of people left Egypt, that date was changed to become the first day of the year. Nisan became the first month of the year, and the people were instructed to celebrate Passover each year for all generations and to remind their children and the children's children how God had rescued them from Pharaoh. Here, they're receiving the news that someone else wants to annihilate them, and there would appear to be no way out of it. But they're gathered together with their families and loved ones, remembering the power of God and how He alone rescued them from Pharaoh and his armies. They knew that He could rescue them from Haman the Agagite with no problem at all. You see, it was not by coincidence that these things happened when they did or as they did. I still encourage you to read the book of Esther, even if you have read it before numerous times. It's a good reminder that God is with us at all times. God sees all. He knows all. He has promised to never leave us nor forsake us. Deuteronomy 31:6 says, "Be strong and of good courage. Do not fear nor be afraid of them, for the Lord your God, He is the one who goes with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you." Hebrews 13:5 says, "Keep your lives free from the love of money. Be satisfied with what you have. God has said, I will never leave you. I will never abandon you." Colossians 3:3, "If then you were raised with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ is, sitting at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on things on the earth. For you died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God." Now, the reason for this message today, Purim is a holiday that commemorates the salvation and deliverance of the Jewish people. And its final fulfillment will be with the second coming of Jesus, the Messiah. We, as a church, as believers in Jesus Christ, are instructed to pray for the people of Israel and intercede for the salvation of the Jewish people from any peoples or countries who threaten their survival. Psalm 83 is a prayer for Israel. O God, do not keep quiet. Do not be quiet, O God, and do not hold your peace. For look, those who hate you are making much noise. Those who fight against you have honored themselves. They make bad plans against your people. They plan against those you care for. They say, "Come, let us destroy them as a nation. Let the name of Israel be remembered no longer." For they plan together with one mind. They make an agreement against you. The tents of Edom and the Ishmaelites, Moab and the Hagarites, Jebal and Ammon, Amalek, Philistia, and those who live in Tyre. Assyria has joined them also. They help the children of Lot. Do to them as you did to Midian, and to Sisera, and to Jabin at the river Kishon. They were destroyed at Endor. They were spread over the field. Make their respected men like Oreb and Zeb. Make their princes like Zebah and Zalmunna, who said, "Let us take for ourselves the fields of God." Oh my God, make them like dust turning in the wind, like parts of the grass that have no worth and are blown away. As the fire that burns up the trees and spreads over the mountains, so go behind them with your storm. Make them afraid with your storm. Fill their faces with shame, so they will look to your name, O Lord. Let them be ashamed and afraid forever. Let them be put to shame and lost. Then they may know that you alone, whose name is the Lord, are the Most High over all the earth. Psalm 122, verses 6 to 9 says, Pray for peace in Jerusalem. May all who love this city prosper. O Jerusalem, may there be peace within your walls and prosperity in your palaces. For the sake of my friends, my family, I will say, may you have peace. For the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek what is best for you, O Jerusalem. That's our message for today, the Sabbath. God bless each and every one of you, and may God be with you until we meet again.